Yeah.
So, this is Dave. This is before any feedback. So, a pretty good extension. Body position is good, breathing is comfortable. And, we talked about your hips, and the hips and legs sinking is not a problem for you. So, that's not something I would worry about it for you anymore. You can see sometimes when you're reaching forward, you have some room for a little more of a reach or extension, and some of the strokes are going right to the center line or close to it. And then the kick, the scissor kick, was something that we discussed. So when you're reaching forward on it's like when your left arm extends forward, that right leg sort of kicks out. So we talked about basically not kicking when your left arm is going forward, and over time you'll sort of work on that timing. But then once you realize that you're not scissor kicking anymore, then you can reincorporate a kick that is staying in your streamline. So here what you look at is rotation, and I view rotation as a function of extension. So the better your extension, the more you will rotate. So when you're reaching that let's say right shoulder forward, right arm forward, you'll be finishing the stroke with your left arm. And so in an ideal situation, you get a fair bit of turning side to side, but the turning is not rotating for rotating's sake. It's turning so that you extend well. So here we get the front view. So yeah, your hands go in front of your head. That's not bad. Ideally, your hands stay just off the side, or left hand in front of the left shoulder, right hand in front of the right shoulder. So the underwater strokes, your left arm is doing a bit of a elbow slip, or the elbow's leading the stroke back, meaning that your hand and forearm are not getting a good purchase or a good leverage on the water. The right arm is doing more of a straight arm pull, which is better than the elbow slip. The problem with the first is that you just don't get as much traction as you should out of each stroke. If you think of the surface area, you want that surface area to be parallel to the back wall of the pool as quickly as possible, or vertical in the stroke as quickly as possible, so that you get as much leverage. The problem with the second one, the straight arm, is that the first third or 25% of the stroke or so are really just kind of pushing water down. So you're using a lot of energy. You're using the right muscle groups more or less, but the energy is being misdirected. So for both of those, the fix is working on the high elbow catch, and really working on that shoulder rotation that I was talking about with you, where it's like a shoulder shrug and then a internal shoulder roll after you extend your arm. That's the way you initiate the high elbow catch. The view. So the line you're pulling back is pretty much straight back, and that's perfect. So if you can just have your hands off the side a little bit in front of your shoulder, and then working more on the high elbow catch. But the line itself is very good. So here, this is really just working on extension.
That's good. You can see you do have the flexibility here to really close down that gap in between your shoulder and your ear, or shoulder and your head. So it's just a matter of drilling this, sort of constantly.
So this is basically a form of catch-up drill. You might call it extension drill or modified catch-up drill, but your focus here is just stretching out and rotating, and you're doing a good job of that.
This one is trying to get rid of the scissor kick, so when you turn to breathe, you're just not going to kick that right leg. Sorry. Very good. That's what you have to do. So this, perfect, man. Just working on the reach and then a good catch. You can see that the left is going to be more of a problem for you than the right, I think. So that you're going to want to do a lot of one-arm left drill.
This is catch-up, just really focusing now on the catch itself. So when you're watching from above, what you want to see is that hand and forearm sort of disappear from view while the upper arm stays extended forward. And so some of those you're getting pretty good. Yeah, the left arm maybe just more troublesome for you to figure out. But that's a matter of just practicing and thinking about it. If you feel yourself getting tired in practice, go back to that high elbow catch. And you're getting some good catches here. About 4 strokes ago you had a really good one. That was a pretty good one on the last, going into the wall. And it's that was good right there. That was pretty good. That one rotated internally a bit, also internally. So the trick is getting that shoulder rotated, hand and forearm angling down without also going internal. Flexibility is part of it. That was a pretty good pull there. But practice is everything. And so it's, I mean, you could literally go to the workout and do 16 50s of one arm drill. You know, it's a strength drill. It's a very much a technique drill. This is doggy paddle. The goal with this one is to keep your arms under the water and then just get the catch. So you're doing a good job with it, with the exception of the left arm coming out.
That was...
So here I think we talked about doing like a catch up where you're thinking about a good extension, good rotation, and then trying to catch as well as possible. And you can see that this looks very smooth. So when you start, you know, mucking around with the stroke, the way to tell what's working best is really looking at the clock and then judging your effort level. So if you can go 75% and you're swimming 4 seconds faster, you know, with this stroke style, it's clearly better. Oh, this was, I think, a Powerstroke trial where you tried to pull harder going back with a long stroke. So you can see you increased your speed a bit there. Okay, so picture breakdown of the stroke. This is left arm, so you can see how the hand and forearm are not going vertical, and so it's not until late in the stroke here where, right there, halfway through the stroke, where the hand and forearm are getting maximum surface area push on the water. So you want to get that engaged earlier, and then that's called like an elbow slip, or the elbow leading the stroke back. And here on the right arm, pretty good extension and rotation, and then more of a straight arm, upper arm and forearm in the same angle through the first third of the stroke or so here. And then you start getting the pull back. You can see your back muscles working in, a little bit of the elbow slipping back there too. So both of them, you improved during the session, so it's just a lot of practice.